Busy week.
We're ready. Are you going to sit down or? Sure. Well, it doesn't matter. Like to call to order. I should put this closer. Call to order the Washington Historic Preservation Commission meeting for Monday, August 17th. Could we have a roll call, please?
Carolyn Witt,
Present.
Steve Struberg,
Here.
Brian Bogue,
Here.
Rick Hopp, Danielle Grotwheel,
Here.
Jamie Holtmeyer,
Here.
Andrew Clary, Bridget Kelch, sorry, that was supposed to be off there, Joe Holtmeyer,
Here.
Mark Hydridge, Greg Scordia, Sal Maniaci,
Here.
Tyler King,
Here.
Okay. If you'd all rise for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Jamie has been excellent at keeping us in the loop on various things from the CLG office, the SHPO office, and she also sent out the minutes. Does anyone have any additions or corrections to the minutes? And if not, could I have a motion?
I motion to approve.
Second.
And we have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. New business, update on the city cemetery sign. They formed a committee, and we've met twice. And Sal probably is more official than I am if he wants to talk about.
Yeah, so for the city cemetery, up right by Wildy Way Cemetery, do you remember that is just adjacent to it? That's a city-owned cemetery that isn't marked or identified in any way. There are a number of the ones that are known of. There are some historic burials there, but this also came up in February. I think that was, other than the special meeting we had, that was the last meeting that this group brought it and talked about it at. But there are a number of black families that have been buried there because at the time there was no churches or denominations that allowed them to be in the cemeteries. So during Black History Month, it was brought up to be able to do some type of recognition or sign, plaque, something there to let people know that it exists and, just kind of give some history there. So we've met twice. I wasn't able to go to the first one, but we met last week. And we got a budget for the sign. $2,500 was pledged from this budget. And the remainder will be, I think, from service organizations is the goal.
Yes.
But in order to get this done in this budget year, which ends at the end of September, we're just going to go ahead and order the sign, and then the city will pay for it and get reimbursed from the service organizations. About a little over half is covered from, well, actually, once we buy the informational plaque, it'll probably be right at half. So this committee and the city, out of the city's budget, will be paying for half, and then we'll get the other half. So probably about $5,000 total, and then we'll let the Gardeners Club. I'm trying to think of the
Right, getting the master gardeners.
Master gardeners,
to
yes, thank you.
perhaps do some kind of bed around the sign to, similar to when you come into town in the city of Washington, and it's absolutely beautiful. And the plantings they do around the library, I mean, they're very active, and if they would take an interest in that, that would really call attention to that. We've picked a really good spot as you go down Wildy Way. It's to the left, right at kind of in the middle of what the city cemetery covers. And they were looking at a granite slab, kind of like a tombstone, but not exactly. It would have a darker granite base and a gray stone. It would not be, at least some of the discussion was it would be a little shorter than the width of the table, standing up, and it would say Washington City Cemetery, established 1889.
Yeah, I think so.
And then we talked about some kind of informational, maybe on the back of the stone, but then the general discussion went to more towards a plaque similar to what's down by the caboose with the Civil War information sign, something on that line. They have a a plat of the map of the cemetery and where the graves are. The graves in the city cemetery were placed chronologically. So the oldest ones are nearer the road, and then as time goes on, they work their way further east. And so the newer graves, and we haven't had one since, what, 2014?
2014,
I think
yep.
was the last one. And so they were looking at the price. They're going to figure out what the price of the plaque would be. You know, what, there'd be information and then maybe the plat with the map. But that has not been definitely decided. We're having a meeting in 2 weeks, and at that time, everything will be finalized so that we can put an order in for the stone so we can get it billed before the end of the fiscal year, which is the 30th of September.
Yep.
So we're trying to expedite this to move it right along. And it was really wonderful that that this committee could have some money to apply to that, because it's a very worthwhile project, and that really got things going. You know, it's seed money is always what you need. And is there anything else that we've talked
No,
about?
next year's budget Darren mentioned, we'll put in for, I mean, it's an old gravel road that hasn't even been maintained, that goes around the city cemetery. It's all weeded up, and so we'll actually pave it, have the sign and the landscaping, so it'll look nice. People know it's there and get a little history. We're going to use Mark Hausman to kind of write it up, since he's got the most.
The expert.
Yeah, he's got the most information on it, and like Carolyn said, we have a plat of the graves, and they're numbered, and the ones that we do know, we have that information. Obviously, there's a lot that we don't, but we'll be able to put that onto the plaque. And
Oh, I thought Marlon said she had all of them.
there are unnumbered graves out there, I mean, on the plat.
But I thought she said she knew everybody that was buried there.
I think they got as many as they can. I don't know. I think Mary said they do not know all of them. I mean, if you look at it, there's even, the ones closest to the road aren't even numbered.
Right.
But they said that they already went out there, we met Thursday?
Yes.
And they already went out there with whatever tools they use at the cemetery and verified that there are bodies 8 inches from the easement, and the paperwork doesn't have any matching to tell you who it is.
He used a giant pole and he'd stick it in
Yeah,
the ground
there's
so it hit something.
Paul Annable is on the committee, and he is in the Cemetery Society. Is that what? And so he has the skills to know where they are. And that was another thing, to make sure there was nothing where we wanted to put the sign. Not that it's a deep, you know, but you don't want to mess up anything. And there was another idea mentioned, that there might be Eagle Scout projects that would help identify the graves and maybe come up with some sort of marking. But that was just, you know, we were shooting all kinds of ideas. This is an untapped potential historic site. And I think recognizing that is way overdue, and I'm really glad that we've gotten the motivation to do something, and it's moving along. And of course, Mark has a million stories, so it's committee meetings are never dull. Is there any other comments about that? Or I think our meeting is on the 27th of August, and it's at 11 o'clock here in the council chamber. So if anybody's interested in coming, feel free to come. Okay, moving along. We've had design reviews online for 3 facades and the outdoor kitchen. Well, there's a facade, a fence, and an outdoor kitchen. And they've already been approved, but they need to be put in the minutes. So Jamie left, but I think we can do this all 3 at
Yep.
one time. So if there's a motion to enter these, the East Main, the Sirens Hotel, which they're working on, they were putting balconies on the windows, I think. And Elm Street at Plush, they're putting a wrought iron fence around the building. And also their outdoor kitchen, which was in a, Airstream trailer,
Yes.
which looked intriguing. So do I have a motion to enter these into the minutes?
We also have 2 more on the revised agenda, the 5 West Main and the 16.
Oh, thank you.
But
I had my minutes from home and I didn't see that.
And everyone did approve. I had 4 approvals on those, so they did pass.
Right, the underdown photography, that building is amazing to see down there, Modern Auto. I mean, that's, wow. Personal, that was an editorial comment. And Front Street, the Bridgeview Brewing sign. That's another spot that looks unrecognizable from the previous incarnation. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5.
I'll make a motion, we issue a certificate of review for the 5 properties.
Excellent. Do I have a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, under old business, potential grants.
I know you've been getting the emails that Jamie's been forwarding, but Danielle had reached out via email to us as well with an idea of maybe an educational outreach program that could be done specifically kind of online to get some information out. It was not an item that was listed as it wasn't as an example that they had in their list of normal projects. Normally it's architectural surveys, that kind of thing. So she did reach out to the state today, and they said, sounds interesting, and they'll respond with that.
She's just getting, Allison is talking to her federal counterpart because they're having to reevaluate how they're going to go about doing things. And, we've talked several times about having a Facebook page or something that we can get information out about what the commission is doing and why it's important. So none of us have the time to run said Facebook page. So I was like, if we could get some money from the SHPO, then we could get someone to run that. So that's what I proposed. I emailed that to Allison, and she was getting with her federal counterpart this afternoon or tomorrow morning.
That would be great.
And next year, we will apply for Shoe Factory
Yes.
District.
To
but-
finish that off. Yeah. That's kind of a pain to have to sit and wait. I
Yeah,
don't know
I
what
don't-
they're expecting to happen.
I guess they want to make sure that the contributing properties are still going to be contributing in the year. I don't really know.
Right.
But that I guess maybe if you were trying to do a really small district and there was plans for it, they wanted to
Right.
put some time in
Right.
between there.
Okay, well, that's great. Keep us posted. Education conferences, most everything has been canceled. I don't know, does anyone know of anything that's still on the works?
We have one, Missouri Main Street has a downtown revitalization, one in Warrensburg in November. I was looking up the date, but as of right now, that is the only one that I know of from a Main Street perspective that is not canceled. Everything else has been, though.
Yeah, that was initially going to be in, I think it was November 6th.
Yeah, and
Because
it
it was
was supposed to be
gonna
in
be
Lee's Summit.
in
I
Lee's
think you're
Summit.
right, Carolyn, November
Yeah.
6th.
Yeah,
But now it's in Warrensburg.
right. Those can be really good or they cannot be. So it's important to, if you get information on that, to evaluate whether it's something that sounds like it's going to be worthwhile. Because,
Always worthwhile from a Main Street perspective, but not always as all-encompassing for
well,
a
the
commission.
last couple have not been very worthwhile even from a Main Street perspective. I mean, I've been there and it's just been disappointing. So I'm hoping, I have high hopes, but I'm afraid I'd have to be more assured it was going to be worth my time because it just has not, Tyler can
I could
agree with-
vouch for that.
because it was, there were 3 of us there, and it was
Wow.
very disappointing.
They've been sending out some online education ones too, and I'm sure as things continue to be canceled, that they'll just start doing more webinars, which we've always kind of, for this group, requested that anyway.
Yeah,
So-
because people aren't able to attend, so it's good when you can do it online. And that way, you're not investing a whole lot of your time and effort into.
Also, I think you get a higher participation when it's online.
Yeah. The only thing I have a concern about that is how do you count how many people, like you were talking about the Facebook, I guess you get
You see how many people are on
how
there.
many people like and that sort of thing, because it's hard, it's the invisible audience out there.
Every time someone joins it up, like if you're doing,
clicks.
if we did like a Facebook Live or something like that, you can see exactly how many people are watching at any given time.
That's good, that's good. Okay, do we have any curb appeal?
No.
There've been a lot of interesting things going on around town, so if you find anything, please let us know.
Oh, of course, there's no, I mean, there's, sky's the limit, honestly, but no.
Right. Okay, same thing with creating new history, though I tell you, it's building up around us downtown, but it's the same guy, so it's not like, well, and creating history, period. Has anybody been out and seen the shoe factory on Second Street? That's pretty amazing.
Moving quickly.
And did Schrader's fill up?
I think
The
he's got it
loft?
filled, yeah.
That is great. So you have new people living downtown.
Sal, do you know if he's filled the commercial spots?
No, I have not heard.
I don't think he has on that yet, but I
I
know the residential, I believe he has.
I thought he still needed to do some work to the commercial spots. He was
Yeah.
going to add the windows and stuff.
Yeah, I just didn't know if he had somebody that had committed to him yet, because I know
No.
there were some people talking to him about it, but,
He hasn't applied for any commercial permits.
Yeah.
just
Okay.
residential.
Well, you notice there's a lot of action going on over at Otto. That's going to be the Hive. It's going to be, from what I understand, an upscale salon, hair. And so there's a lot of action going on over there.
They just got their occupancy, so they should be.
Oh, that's good news. That's good.
I think she had a September 1st date in mind.
I think so.
What I was
thought
told.
they were wanting to open soon. They were kind of rushing. They wanted to make sure that as soon as they got their occupancy and had their business license, that they were free to open. So they might do some kind of soft opening to start.
That's good. That's good. Budget report.
We haven't spent any money since the last one, but like we said, we will be spending $2,500 on out of our plaque budget into that sign and plaque for the cemetery.
Right, our plaque just morphed into a.
Yeah.
And next year, is there any, from as far as the city goes, you know, are things, the budget is alive and well, at least, I hope, for next year?
I mean,
Have you had a lot of,
for historic preservation, I've put in the same amount.
right?
So I haven't heard yet.
Joe, do you know if how our funding is? Does it look like there's going to be money to?
I didn't have any idea. Yeah,
I just wondered, you were our council source.
yeah.
I think as of right now, it's submitted as is. So same budget as before.
That's good. Well, if you need support from us, we'll be there.
Okay.
You know, if you need any help. Informational plaques, we're doing the cemetery sign in lieu of that. And the Calvin Theater, sad. But,
The owner was in and said he plans on replacing the roof, but I don't know when. So
wow.
he was in for something else, but then
Right.
mentioned that he was gonna replace the roof. I just don't know a timeline on that.
that would be good. Oh. Okay, is there any other business?
Nope. No, short and sweet, but we have to do these 4 times a year at least to be a CLG. So I appreciate you guys coming.
And I do thank you for coming, because 4 times a year is a lot easier to make the effort if we're able to do things online. There may be something that comes up that Jamie will need to see bodies, and we need to have a more in-depth discussion than just with emails. But so far, this has worked very well, and I really appreciate you coming out in these unsure times. And okay, if there's no other business, our next meeting will be November 16th here in the council chambers. And who knows what world we will be facing in November. Is there a motion for adjournment?
I'll motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carried. Meeting adjourned. And thank you very much for coming. I can't talk. I can't talk with the mask. Yeah. I'm a
Wow.
loud and
I have a hard
obnoxious,
time.
but need to be.
I don't hear a word anybody says. It's gonna be tough.
I don't hear a word anybody says.